And we're live.
Yay! Welcome. I've titled this "Shel teaches Eppy about merch" because that's what we're going to do. I have a slight inkling to do more of these, where I have all my wonderful, knowledgeable friends teach me about stuff that I am wandering in the dark about. So I would like to introduce you to Shel Khan, artist extraordinaire.
I'm an illustrator and a cartoonist and a writer, and I make stuff. And you might know me from By Crom, where Conan gives me life advice, or from illustrating in things like Worlds Without Master,
Yes.
or Chaosium games, or Pelgrane games. You've probably seen my stuff out and about if you're playing games. You can learn more about me at portablecity.net, but you're also going to learn a whole lot about how I run my store.
Yeah.
So,
Em and I were just to just add a little personal touch to it, because that's always good. Em and I last night were trying to figure out how you came into our lives. Because I think Em might have met you at
I was
a
on a panel with M that
yeah.
Robin Laws ran, which was my first time meeting M, who was uh, one of those people whose reputation is like miles ahead of her. So I show up for the panel and it's Emily Caraboss, and Robin's like, "Yeah, you two will just do a little scene." It's like, what? But Emily's delightful. I think I had met you, or we had worked together by then, though, Eppy,
Okay, all right,
because
that's good.
because that was the Gen Con where I was like, I have to meet Emily and Eppy in person. Um, so I think we had worked on Worlds Without Master at that point.
Yeah, you've illustrated One Winter's Dew, which is the story that inspired Wolfspell, and your owl illustration for that is still what greets me when I turn on my computer.
Oh my goodness. And I can actually see By Crom behind you on the shelf. So I feel like maybe you reached
Oh
out
yeah.
to me asking if I wanted to run By Crom in Worlds.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I know that
Bicrom
that
is
was a conversation
probably
we had.
how I discovered you. Uh, and then, yeah, my memory's so bad. But
The
fortunately,
internet.
fortunately for all of us, you're here to teach me about how you do merch.
Yeah, so I'm a one-person operation. Mostly, I have some friends who help out. I have a partner who helps out, often with carrying things. But despite that, I've been selling zines online since 2012. I did a Kickstarter for By Crom where I printed 1,000 books and shipped 400 of them in a month and a half.
Wow.
And I have been trying to sell things through print-on-demand sites online since 2007, when I found a print-on-demand site called MySodi, which is a t-shirt printing print-on-demand site that I think is long gone now. But it was one of the first that I had discovered, and it was British, but I could print shirts. So this is the design I printed. This is the Hexa
Nice.
Bunny. This is
Yeah.
a much more recent printing, but I printed the Hexa Bunny on shirts, and I listed them in my forum signature. And I sold a couple shirts, one of them to my now partner. So
Nice.
on many levels, I recommend doing this. Who knows what it will find you?
Right.
Uh, in terms of how I do things, I learned to make things by making zines and joining zine fairs here in Toronto, Canada, where we have a wonderful thing called Canzine, which is sort of like a comic convention, but for zines, and it's small and it's really cheap and it's first come, first serve. So it's just everything, no curation, uh, no required theme, no required level of polish. Just, did you make a thing? Do you want to sell it? Get in line. And I think I bring a lot of that to what I make, where it's like, can I make it quickly? Can I get it to people? And can I make enough money that I can keep making things?
Yeah.
So when it comes to making merch for stuff like By Crom or some of my more recent stuff, I've been looking into a lot of things that do print on demand, because keeping stock around your house is a lot of work. And you can
Yeah.
see behind me, this is By Crom. This is their 6 boxes here. and 2 boxes elsewhere, and that is the entirety of my remaining stock. And there's about 30 something books in each box, so we're getting through it.
Yeah.
But I want you to imagine 1,000 books in boxes, and the storage unit I had to rent. So
I'm in my library right now, and the reason why I'm in my library, not my office, is because of all the boxes that are sitting in. And those aren't even mine. Those are M's. I'm almost entirely digital these days, and part of why I'm talking to you is that I'm trying to get back into the old habits of having physical things because people keep yelling at me about just doing digital stuff. So I'm sorry. People
no,
people request things.
People politely request. They would
Well, they
like to
wave money at me. And they say, this could be yours if you weren't an idiot. And I'm like, but I have built such a brand around being an idiot. I should keep that up.
That's a sunk cost fallacy there, Eppy.
Yeah.
Check out of that one. I give that lecture a lot to my friends and studio mates who, especially in comics, don't feel confident making and selling things, or want to wait until they're ready.
Right.
And I've never waited until I'm ready. It's like, I don't know, fuck it, I'll make things. I used my SOTI to make t-shirts for my friends for Christmas the first year I found it. And I was like, well, those worked out. Maybe someone will pay me for this shit. But like, you can't know until you try, right?
Yeah.
You can ask your audience, what do you want? What are you interested in? But until you make it available and wave it in their faces, you're not going to know who's interested in what. So when it comes to making physical objects, I still rely a lot on print on demand, and I've been using a bunch of print on demand stores to produce t-shirts, art prints, pencil cases, and like a whole range of sort of smaller, more one-off things. And I even found a website that does print on demand fabric, so I'm able to make these canvas patches.
Wait, I think I have some around here, but it would take up time for me to go running for them.
It's okay. I am going to show you folks photos. I'll pull up this screen share and show you my store where I've got everything, and also show you some of the products that aren't live on the store right now that, you know, are sold out or were limited run, but I still have all the photos and info. I'm going to be pretty transparent about my money on this situation. So if people are uncomfortable with that.
No, I think that's good.
Yeah.
So I got a question about the print on demand stuff, if I can. I don't know if you have.
No, please.
Yeah. So you pointed me to Society 6 years ago when I did my mug, which I should have example of here, and I don't, because that's how prepared I am.
Yeah,
once again, on brand. But do you normally, when you do print on demand, like, so a lot of these sites, I'll probably get you to recommend some sites, but like a lot of these sites have their own like storefronts. Do you depend on that? You obviously have your own storefront. Do you print, get things printed up? I guess, how's that work? I'll let you finish it.
So I got started using sites like Society 6 and Redbubble. I really tried, I think, everything on Society 6 at one point now, because I love making stuff. But Society 6 is set up so that you have an account and your products go into a little store that is your stuff on the Society 6 website, and they're searchable by anyone on the Society 6 website. So I think maybe when it was smaller, there was a lot of discoverability. At this stage, it's so big that you're not really benefiting from discoverability until you already have a significant amount of fans and followers on there. So it's lost that particular useful aspect, but it's a really, really, really completely no-cost way to try out making things for the first time. And on that level, I really recommend it, because you go into the website, and I can pull it up and walk people through the interface as well. You upload images, you sort of move them around on the template for each different product. It tells you how big the image has to be. And when you're done, you hit publish. And then if you like what you see, you just send that link around on your Twitter and your Google Plus and your Facebook and tell people you can buy my stuff now in my Society 6 store. And Society 6 auto-generates a fair amount of nice sort of preview images of the stuff that you make. So you never actually have to hold the object in your hand to sell it to people.
Yeah.
Society 6 will receive the order, manufacture the product, and send you the agreed upon profit margin.
From my experience with Society 6 is that they're also almost always doing a sale of some type or another, that like, so you, because you were talking about like, waving it in people's faces, and we'll probably get into that a little bit. That's like a super important thing.
Yes.
And the sales are good excuses to do that, right? Like to just, oh, hey, look, you can get this for 25% off or 10% off or
Or
whatever.
free shipping or whatever they're
Yeah.
offering. Yeah. No, they have sales, I'm guessing almost once a week,
Yeah.
at least. And that can be a really, really great excuse to talk about stuff. Especially there are sales where you have to send a link, like a specific URL out
Mhm.
for people to get the sale, which then you can like save for your mailing list or your Patreon or something and be like, hey, this isn't for everyone, but it's for you.
Yeah.
So you can really sort of prioritize how you share those. The main issue with Society 6 is that their profit margins are really, really, really tiny.
Yeah.
It's like 10% on everything except art prints. You can set your own profit margin on the art prints um, by just increasing the price. Like you're given a fixed cost for how much that art print will cost Society 6 to make, and you can increase how much you want to charge for it, but you can't affect the price on anything else. And they'll, you can make mugs on Society 6 t-shirts. You can make kids' clothes. You can make rugs. You can make blankets. You can make all sorts of great stuff. But at 10% profit,
Yeah.
it's not a huge source of income until you're at incredibly large volumes of sales. So, and like I said, you're not really getting a lot of discoverability from the website until you're at incredibly huge volumes of sales. So you're essentially sending people to a website with millions of amazing products to try and convince them to buy your product. And you're mostly just advertising Society 6, I
Yeah.
feel, at a certain point. And it's if that's the level of commitment you want to make to an online store, then do it because that's what it's there for. And if you want to try stuff and just be like, I've never made a T-shirt with my stuff on it, I'm going to make one and I'm going to order one from Society 6 to see if I like it, and then maybe I'll see if my 4 friends want to sell it. Or want to buy it. That's an amazing place to do that. Um, Another website that works very, very similarly is Redbubble. And Redbubble does give you a little bit more control over the profit margin, but it's still small.
Hmm.
And you're still sending people to Redbubble as opposed, where they can, be like, oh, I do like that t-shirt that Shel made, but also this one has a rabbit that's only got 4 legs, and I'm a lot happier about that because they're designed to pipe you around the site and show you all the different cool stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but that might be an option. I would also recommend with both of them to at least buy one of a type of product to see how it prints, because there can be differences in how they process color depending on how the products are printed. So if you have a design you want to have on a greeting card and you want to have it in an art print and you want to have it on a mug, I found especially on mugs, printing tends to skew
Yeah.
very dark. And like high saturated, it can look good if you know that it's coming, but you want to proof 1 or 2 things, or at least especially with new products that you're trying. And Society 6, what they charge the sellers is just 25% off the base cost, so it's not a huge discount for proofing either.
Hmm.
So that's another thing to keep in mind, that you can hit a bit of a wall if you want to try and sell a wide variety of things and you want to proof them all. If you want to just fly by the seat of your pants and be like, my customers will tell me if it looks bad, then go for it. That's how I started.
Yeah. Well,
So
that's a thing that I often tell people, which may be bad. Like we're just talking about the gray in my beard here. This may be bad old news or old advice, but I often tell people that like it's better to get your product out than to have a perfect product to put out, right? Like maybe nowadays with Kickstarter and stuff, you can be a little bit more on the professional side for that. But I think if you're just having a go at it, and you're like, this is my as close to DIY as I can thing, then yeah, just don't put yourself in the hole for an experiment about a particular part of a piece of merch that you're not even sure if people are going to embrace.
I fully agree. Like, it's way better to get it out and see what people think than to fret over it and throw money at it or time or both
Mm-hmm.
and never release it, because you're only going to be making the money on it once you let it, people look at it.
Yeah.
And I think people assume that fans are going to be really pissy about getting something that isn't exactly what they thought it would be or exactly what they wanted or perfect. But I think the reality is most people understand that you're one person, or can be made to understand that you're one
Yeah.
person and you're trying stuff. And if you can sort of be transparent about your process, then you'll have goodwill and enthusiasm from the people who see themselves as part of the process by being beta testers.
Yeah. And like early adopters know that they want to be, either they want to be the first to get something, or they want to be part of your process. They want to help you out. They like what you do. And also, like, so easy to refund someone.
Yes.
You're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's not how I wanted it to look. Here you go.
Yeah. I'll send you a
Work
new
on it.
one. I'll send you money. Like,
Yeah.
it's okay to make mistakes, just own up to them. And
Yeah.
when people call you on stuff, be prepared to make good.
Mhm.
And I think that's like one of the most important things you can do as a business person. So like, I am notoriously slow at shipping things from my store. I tend to try and ship once a month. So I have in my store fac, it says, should be about 6 weeks before you get this. That's how I work.
Yeah.
Occasionally people will write and be like, I thought I'd get this sooner. And I'll write and be like, I'm really sorry. That's just not how it works here. And if they're really upset, then maybe I throw in a little postcard or something in there to be like, I know that this was harder for you to be patient, but I really appreciate your patience. So thank you. That's the cost of being me and juggling everything that I juggle.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're just trying out stuff, go get a Redbubble or Society6 store. It's an easy thing to set up. You can plug it into your PayPal, I believe, with both of them really easily, and it's not no overhead cost to just go in there and start uploading photos and see the previews and be like, what if my logo was on a mug? What if my logo was on a travel mug? Like, just try it. It's fun. Sometimes I just upload art I've made to be like, what if, what if, what if?
Yes.
Um, and the
Well,
other
I
thing
mean,
is like,
I was just going to say, when I did the mug, Society6 was like, oh, but would you also like this as a giant framed print? And if you've seen my mug, it doesn't make sense as a giant framed print, but I still went, maybe.
they definitely capitalize on that on some level, but it's also just really fun. So
Yeah.
I recommend it. Go spend some time. It'll make you feel like you can do anything, and that's totally true. So, but what I've moved to, after sort of doing the math and being like, Society6 is not exactly how I want to run my store long term as I'm growing it, is I've moved to using print on demand websites, but having them drop ship stuff. So there's a bunch more pieces to this. And the first and most important piece is that I have my own storefront that I pay a monthly fee for at Big Cartel.
Okay.
Um, and so I'm going to walk you through this verbally, and then I'll show the websites that I use. But let's just quickly sort of get an overview. So Big Cartel is a storefront. You sign up and you get a store where you can create products, tell them if they're live, tell them the inventory, and then take sales through it. And you can choose if you want to use PayPal or Stripe to process payments, or you can use both, which I really like because it lets people pay by credit card or by PayPal. And it gives me multiple sort of streams of income.
Yeah.
So if for any reason PayPal gets mad at me or Stripe gets mad at me, and my store still functions. So I like that a lot. Big Cartel has a free like level 1 tier. So if you don't have a storefront and you have anything you want to sell, go sign up for that. It's free. There's no transaction fee except for the payment provider's fees. So PayPal takes its own 3.5% fee. Stripe takes a similar fee. That's just sort of the cost of doing business now. And if you are offended by that, I'm really sorry, but that's how money moves on the internet. But PayPal itself doesn't take any per transactions fees, and so you'll get 5 products with an image, and you can sort of design them, put them up, list them, and sell things for free. And so that's a really, really, really great place to start. If you've never had your own online store, like go try that out. I started there when I was selling my first by Crom zine in 2012, and it was very good to me. And now I've decided to like pay the monthly fee for more services, more products. So I use a tier now where I get 100 potential products and I can track inventory, and each product has 5 images. And it's really been like healthy and helpful to be able to grow as my business needs have grown.
Yeah.
Because there's like a 25 product tier, I think a 50 product tier, a 100 product tier, and there's one above and beyond that I don't imagine I'll ever need, but it's there if I need it. And so I just pay a monthly fee. I think it's 25 a month right now US for my 100 products a month, and I do that because I know I will make that money back. If for some reason I'm like, oh, I'm going to dial my store right down, I can just at the end of the month switch to a different tier. And there's no like, I haven't signed up for a year of anything. It's just month to month. So
that's good.
It's very good. So when I'm here experimenting, adding new products, growing the store, then I can have a nice high tier and make the money. And if for some reason I need to scale my store back down, I can drop down. I can drop all the way down to the free tier if I want. So that's been really, really helpful. And I really recommend that as a great starting place. The one sort of limitation is that it's a little bit, there's aspects of how it looks that are hard to edit. So if you are someone who wants to build your own store, then it might not be the right thing for you, but I would say it's a great place to just try out having a store before you throw in a bunch of time and money on one.
And so the service that they're providing is the transaction, or not the transaction, but like they give you a website that you can put your stuff up on, and then they take the money in, and then they tell you sold this, you should ship it to this place, right?
So they take the orders. So they'll get the shipping information. They'll tell me how many of something someone bought. They'll send the money to PayPal. PayPal will send the money to me. They facilitate all of that, and they allow me to set up shipping charges. They allow me to set up product and product variations. They allow me to tell them how many of a product I have, so I don't oversell. So I don't, if I print 100 of something, I list 100 in the store. When they're gone, they're gone. The store is keeping track for me. So that's been really helpful.
And so that's you, like it's your big cartel, and there's no traffic driven either to or away from you. Okay.
No.
Good. Yeah.
No, it's a standalone website. It's my responsibility to advertise it, but it's also nobody's going to get lured off it to someone else's better, shinier store. Though there are many great stores, go and enjoy them. But yeah, it's a closed loop. Go to my big cartel, browse my big cartel. When you're done, you have to close the browser or whatever, right? Go back to my website or whatever. So it's not driving traffic in unpredictable ways. So I use Big Cartel, and then in Big Cartel, I can list products that I have physically to sell. So if I have zines, or if I've made canvas patches or such, then they get listed in there, and then it sends me an email being like, you've got a new order. And I go and I get the order information, and I put the zine in an envelope, and I write the address, and I ship it. And then I check order has been shipped. And so that's what the Big Cartel provides. What I've been doing with that to sort of fill the gap that Society6 has left in my production is I've been using websites that provide a service called drop shipping. And I've been using print-on-demand websites specifically for that. So, the way that they work is very similar to Society6, where they only print the product when somebody buys one. So they're not keeping any stock for me. There's no warehouse somewhere else in the country that's full of my stuff. So I don't have to pay for storage. I don't have to pay for insurance. I don't have to pay for inventory management. I'm just using these websites to print things when they need to be printed. But the way that drop shipping works is that these websites don't operate my store. I make the product listing in my Big Cartel. and then they plug into my big cartel. So I can tell these other websites, when I get a big cartel order for this product, that's your problem. And big
Hmm.
cartel will send them the shipping information and the product information. And then they'll ping me an email and be like, hey, somebody ordered a new art print. Come and pay for it and we'll ship it for you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So these websites take my orders, produce my products, put my branding on them, and ship them for me to my customers. And there's a bunch of reasons that that's great. Obviously, not maintaining stock, not being
Yeah.
responsible for the shipping myself in terms of time. Like, I mean, I'm slow at shipping. These sites are fast.
Yeah.
They have an entire warehouse set up to deal with this, right? People are prepared to ship. They have laser, like printers printing shipping labels and all of that, and I don't have any of that stuff. So they're amazing. Um, in general, I've also found that drop shipped products are available at a lower price than products um, elsewhere. So, like, it's not a wholesale rate. A wholesale rate is when you're buying a bunch of one exact product,
Hmm.
but a drop ship rate is still going to be lower than retail. And because these sites aren't dictating how much I sell them for, I just know what my costs are.
Yeah.
So, for example, when I sell a pencil case through the website Art of Wear, which I'll show you in a minute, I have a fixed cost per pencil case that is drop shipped. I know what that cost is, it's predictable. Then, when I make my product in my big cartel to tell people they can buy one of these pencil cases, I can set what they pay wherever I want. So I have an opportunity to make a much higher profit margin, to have a lot more control over my pricing, to leave room to have sales, um, and such, where I know exactly how much my cost will be. It's fixed, and I can just completely make all my other decisions myself.
Yeah.
So that's been really, really good as well. Some drop shipping sites also offer very affordable samples. So they want you to try their product. So they will either offer you a cheap sample or they'll offer you a sample that gives you a discount off the first sale or something like that. Not all of them do this, but it's a thing I found a lot more in drop shipping websites.
That's good. Yeah. I
Yeah.
like that.
And then a few of them also have very low minimums for wholesale. So if I'm printing notebooks through Art of Wear, I can sell them drop shipped through my store. But if I'm going to be doing a convention and I think people might want to buy some on site, I can make a wholesale order, and their minimum quantity for wholesale is 6.
Oh,
So
that's really good. Yeah.
it's really good. I
I,
will say that, like, the wholesale price on a print on demand notebook is not as good as going and buying 1,000 of that notebook, from a
right.
big company and storing them in your house. The profit margin's still smaller than that, but in terms of not having to store piles of boxes, this is the best solution I found so far.
And you were saying that they're pretty swift on the shipping too, because like a thing that I've encountered because I am not the best planner in the world is that sometimes I'm like, oh, I've got a convention at the end of the month. I don't have time to do a whole print run or something. This is back when I did print runs, but so I if if I could be like, oh, I just need a dozen of these, and I can get them to me fairly swiftly, that would be uh, really advantageous, even though the margin is smaller.
Yeah. No, and they'll do that. And they'll ship, like, I mean, I haven't had them ship to a hotel for me yet, but it's definitely an option.
Yeah.
Right? Where you're like, hey, I'm doing, a convention in Philadelphia and I'm just going to get them to ship to the hotel because that's the time. They give you estimates of how long it takes them to print and ship things, and they'll give you estimates for drop shipping, and they'll give you separate estimates for wholesale.
Oh,
Because obviously printing one thing and shipping it is different from printing
yeah.
10 things. Generally, it's good to leave a month. Just in case of shipping problems, and especially if any of these sites are shipping from not your country,
Yeah.
you want to leave a little elbow room. But yeah, they've been an amazing service. So the sites that I use for drop shipping right now are Art of Wear, which I'll show you, and that's actually a Canadian producer. And they are in Montreal, and they do cut and sew fashion. They do art prints. They print on wood. They print a lot of different fabrics. They do a few different they'll do like cell phone cases and such. So I'll show you their website. They make a lot of nice stuff. It's not all relevant to my sort of customer base. I don't know how many people want exercise wear with my art on it, but they make gorgeous stuff. Their quality is very all right. Crop top for Eppy. They make absolutely gorgeous stuff. I've been really, really happy with their quality, and they have a lot of different options so that I've been able to find the ones that work best for me. The other site that I use that's American is called Printful, and they fill that Society 6 t-shirt void. So this is a Printful print, and I have a ton more sort of friends who've used them and made gorgeous shirts. So it's the same process in terms of printing on t-shirts the Society 6 uses. It's direct to garment printing. It's not screen printing. But this is a 3-year-old, 2-year-old, a 3-year-old shirt. I wear the heck out of it, and it's doing way better than any Society 6 shirt I've bought. Honestly, the quality is just incredible.
Nice.
And they have an enormous amount of t-shirts. They just buy wholesale t-shirts and stock them. And so your style options are enormous for t-shirts, and your size options are enormous. So there's shirts that go up to 5X, which is a thing that I think it's important to be able to offer. So if I offer something and I can't wear it, then what the hell?
Is it the sort of thing where if you choose, does the creator choose the style option, or is that let the customer choose it as well? Or
for Printful, the creator is going to choose the style option. So you're going to create sort of all the files needed to print this design on this shirt.
Yeah.
And the customer will then be given the option to buy this shirt with this design on it. And you can list all the different sizes you want to offer as product varieties in your store. But then you'll ship you'll send the order information to Printful. Printful will print the shirt, and they will mail it to your customer. And again, you can get your branding put on it in some ways.
Nice.
There's tiers of how branded things get. You can pay to get tags torn out and replaced with your own tags. Yeah, you can get pretty intense.
The clothing one in the back of the neck there?
Yeah, the one that's going to say American Apparel or whatever. So there's options there, or to get your branding information printed on the back below the neck.
I don't know why that appeals to me, but it does. So
it feels really classy, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it adds a level of sort of detail and love to the product where you're like, hey, this is exactly this particular thing. So that works out really well. For me as a Canadian, shipping using Printful means that I have to watch the exchange rate, because the American dollar is worth more than the Canadian dollar, and it moves around a bunch as our economies have adventures. So, and so I've been very, very careful to put in a lot of padding into my profit margin, which means that I'm charging a little bit more than maybe I would initially think to charge on the t-shirts, but I think they're really, really great products. Printful also does a decent amount of housewares, so I do mugs through them that I really like. They have American-made mugs and overseas manufactured mugs, so they give you some options. They have hats. They'll do print-on-demand embroidery on hats, and they'll charge you. There's a setup fee for each new design, because embroidery is complicated, but that setup fee is $10 or $15. So it's very low, and if you're going to sell 4 or 5 hats, then you've already covered your setup fee. And again, they have a ton of different hat designs, and I love trying out stuff. So I'll often just be like, how could I turn this into a present? And so I gave my partner an embroidered toque, which is a beanie with a pom-pom. Nice. If anybody is not Canadian. So I got him an embroidered toque with a Crystal Island just for him on it, and it's gorgeous. They did an amazing job. So I super want to start designing hats. That's the next thing on my list.
That's great. Hey, can I ask you, because I have an idea for a piece of merch. I'm not traveling too far away from my zone here with the mug. I'm just wondering if you've seen a place that can do this. I want a pint glass that has Jovial listed at the top and a little line, and then Glum at the bottom with a little line. Have you seen a place that might pull that off, or am I?
So I've been looking into other print-on-demand drop shipping sites, and I've got a few that I've found that I haven't tested yet.
Mm-hmm.
And there are definitely pint glasses. So I'll pull some of those up as well,
Awesome.
and just talk about sort of the process. So I found one recently that has an amazing range of glassware that also requires me to like give them a ton of business information to set up my store with them. So I'm still reading all of their contracts, and I
Yeah.
haven't made the commitment yet, so I can't give it like the flying thumbs up or whatever, but it's
Right.
an option. And then there's another site I've gotten a couple samples from but haven't put into full production yet. That I think they do have something like that. They have an array of glassware, so I'll pull those up.
Cool.
But yeah, should I give some tours of some of the sites?
Yeah, I think that'd be a great idea.
All right. So I'm going to give you a quick tour of Big Cartel and its back end. So let me just pull up the front of my store so you can see what that looks like. And I'm going to try and not share anything that I shouldn't share. But like I said, I'm just going to be transparent about the let's grab this one. All right.
Hey.
So this is my store. And you can see I've got a cart. I've got categories of products. So we can click into zines and it'll pull up just the zines. We can go back to products. We can search for Conan, right? So, and then you can change. Some of them have really fancy home pages. I've stuck with just the products. I also have links at the bottom. So there's the contact form. There's a page of frequently asked questions, including a currency converter, because people sometimes underestimate how much money you save as an American when you buy Canadian. It's a lot.
You know me, I love a calculator.
Yeah. And then I also have in here a link to my PDF selling solution, which is Gumroad. But I think Eppy, you've already fully explored PDF selling things, so we don't need to get into that. So it looks pretty nice, I feel. It's like got a little auto load as you scroll down, and as you mouse over, you get the prices.
Oh, nice.
And then also you can learn that some things are sold out. But when you click into a product, if you have options, they'll appear here. You have images. If you have extra images, you'll be able to click through them. You can get a big version of the image by clicking on it, and then you get your details.
And you said at the free level, you get 5 of these and then 1 image per. Is that correct? Yeah.
If I recall correctly, yeah.
Yeah, I guess we could just look at the site and the folks can look at the site and.
Yeah. So you get the price, and then if you like it, you hit add to cart, and then the cart screen has everything. You can tell them how many, you can remove it, and then checkout takes you through your standard checkout process. There is a little place for you to leave a note for the seller, which I've been using for specific things. But yeah, so that's what it looks like on the internet. And then for me, from behind, this is my dashboard. So it's going to tell me the green is how many orders, the purple is how many visitors. So you can see orders have slowed down. It was a pretty intense May. June is quieter. Part of that's because I'm not talking about the store that much right now. So we'll wrap up with the tell people about your store.
Right.
Rant.
But we'll just keep telling them that we're going to tell people about telling people about the store, so it gets stuck in their heads, because this is like if you take anything away, that's the thing.
Tell people about your store. They can't buy things if you don't tell them.
Yeah.
So we've got the dashboard, which gives me info. I can track sort of my revenue per product. I can track my revenue per category. We can sort of see how I'm doing compared to the previous day, and we can sort of like go to an all-time view. We can go back to 7 days. We can go all the way through. Orders, I'm not going to show you because that has people's private information.
Yeah.
So orders is just, you'll get a little window and it's like, this is the name and address and this is what they purchased. Products, this is the good one. So you can have it listed like this in these sort of image tiles, or you can view it as a list if that's easier for you, whichever you prefer. I like the image tiles because I spend all that time on photos. But if we click in to the product, here's how you build a product. So you can upload up to 5 images once you have over the free thing, or you can get 1 image with your free thing. You're going to name the product. You're going to set your price. If it's on sale, you can get it to add a sale button or like sticker. This is not on sale, it's a normal price. You can use sort of basic HTML tags in the description. So I've got a list here, bulleted list. I've, bolded the title of my thing. I have links if people prefer to buy the PDF. There are actually things that plug in to sell digital files through Big Cartel, but I do not like them as much as Gumroad. And I made my choice. You have your categories. So when you click on
Wait,
that,
hold on. So you can sell PDFs with the product here? Is
you
that what you just?
can.
Okay.
One of the things with Big Cartel is that the PDF thing I found the fees to be frustrating.
Okay.
And to be sort of complicated, and given the many low fee PDF distribution options out there, including I just send you a Dropbox link,
Right.
I'm happy to just fulfill PDFs on my own or send people to Gumroad for those because
Yeah.
Gumroad is lovely and simple as well. And obviously things like itch.io and DriveThru RPG are there to fulfill your PDF needs as well.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah, because it's one of those weird niche things about the role playing hobby where uh,
People
selling a
want that
PDF.
PDF.
Yeah, selling a PDF with a physical product is the thing you want to have happen. Like no other book has that.
Yeah.
I don't even think textbooks even thought to do that,
Nope.
which is ridiculous for the amount of money you spend on a textbook. But so many places, like I use Squarespace, which is very similar to what's going on here, and it won't do that. It's like we'll either sell them the PDF or we'll sell them the book, but you're a madman if you think we're going to do both at the same time.
Yeah. What I've been doing is just sending a download link to anybody that asks for it at this
Yeah.
point, and hopefully I'll find a better solution, but that's on the list of things to figure out still. Um, but yeah, Gumroad allows you to make a, a sort of a one-off link that
Hmm.
you can send for like 100% off.
Yeah.
So I can easily send people that to be like, here, go get your PDF. Um, or I send them a Dropbox download link if I really am feeling lazy. But yeah, I have not found that Big Cartel's PDF distribution thing has made any sense for me. Though maybe they've updated it since I checked last year. So I should take another look. So yeah, to finish this up, there's categories. So you can see, just turn them on, turn them off. Um, and then status, which is pretty useful. So it might be active, which means people can buy it. Hidden means that it's not visible on the public site. Sold out means that it's visible, but they can't pay for it, but they can click in and read the details, but there's no option to buy it. And coming soon is the same. So like, again, you're not going to make any money on these, but they're a great way to be like, stay tuned.
Right. Look what you missed out on.
Yeah, sucker.
Haha.
And then you have your options, and this is also where you do your inventory. So I have my main option, and the first one's always going to be the same price as the product is priced at.
Hmm.
And I tell them how many I have, and then you can add more and change the price. So
Oh,
if you
okay.
have different sizes of shirts, then you don't need to change the price. It's just like buy your small, medium, large, XL, 2XL. If you're doing different versions of zines, then you might want to adjust the price. One thing to know about Big Cartel is that each product has a blanket shipping calculator. So I know Squarespace has a much more complex shipping calculator. There's a lot of really neat ways to do it. I like Big Cartels because it's simple and I'm simple. With this sort of thing, I just figure out what my costs are and make sure
Yeah.
they're covered. So you can set as many different countries as you want. For me, obviously, I need to figure out how much it costs to ship within Canada. Then most of my audience is in the States. And then for everywhere else, I just try and I'm like, well, if I'm shipping it to Finland, how much does that cost? Okay, well, I've got that covered. Then England will be slightly cheaper and Australia will be slightly more. But if you have a big, heavy book, you might want to have more specific regions in your shipping options
Right.
based on the cost of shipping it. You get your product URL, which you can adjust if you need to, and then sort of preview it. And then at the bottom, you have your like cancel and save options. So I don't know what I've done, so we're just going to cancel out.
Yay.
But yeah, so I'm just going to take a quick look and see. So this is a drop shipped product. This is an art print and it's going to be shipped through Art of Wear. So as you can see, it's just all the same on this end. I set my shipping. I get the shipping information from Art of Wear. If for any reason you are unable to find an estimate, then you can just go and put a bunch of things in a cart and set different shipping addresses to see what the shipping costs are on any given website. So
right, yeah.
just have a Starbucks address, in Canada, in the States, in Finland. Keep an eye, keep some addresses for sort of testing your shipping costs. But again, all the other stuff, just exactly the same. So that's the product screen. So the other thing I have, and you might notice there are products in here. There's actually a lot more products in here. This is why I keep my thing at the level it is. So right now I've got the Hexa Bunny t-shirt is hidden. I'm not selling this through my store anymore. Suckers. I'm going to try it out on a different t-shirt design because I really like 3/4 sleeve, but it wasn't selling that well. And I'm going to try it on a basic t-shirt, maybe in a fun color. And then I have a lot of stuff that I have originals that I've sold. I just need to make sure that I keep track of them until I get it all entered into the spreadsheet for this year. I also use Big Cartel at conventions, so that's something I should talk about. Big Cartel has an iOS-only app that allows you to use it as a cash register at conventions. So I create a product for any particular convention I'm at. So this is the Fan Expo 2017. And you can see I have an option for every single thing that was on my table.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I see what you're doing there.
Yeah. So I just have that available. It allows me to track everything that I sell. And it allows me I can take cash for things through the app, or I can use Square, the Square card reader, or I can use Stripe as sort of a web store purchase window. Nice. And that's been a really, really great option, especially as a Canadian who sells in the States sometimes. Square only works in the country of your bank account.
Oh, man.
So if you're coming to Canada and you're an American, Square is not going to work for you. The Big Cartel store with the Stripe thing, or Stripe has its own payment processing thing separate from this you can sign up for. They'll work just as like somebody's buying from your web store, and it does not care what country you're in. So that's your sweet hack. But yeah, so I keep all of these, and you can reorder them as you want. And then you can also manage your categories, sort of add categories, name them, remove them, reorder them. And you can take a look at the inventory sort of for things if you want that sort of, I check in on things enough. So the other thing that Big Cartel has, obviously, is discounts. So I'm going to have to change that now. But I have a Patreon discount available that I keep. So patrons, stay tuned. You'll get a new discount code. And yeah, so you can see all my stuff here and then where I'm active. And then this is my apps, and this is what I want to show you. So I've got it plugged into 3 things, including MailChimp. It does actually have a MailChimp plugin as well to encourage people to sign up for my mailing list. But I also have it plugged into Art of Wear and Printful. So that's that. And again, this is what it looks like in use.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of drop shipped items in the store right now. The prints, all the art prints are drop shipped. The notebooks are drop shipped. And this notebook, the mug, is drop shipped. So for things that aren't drop shipped, my risograph art prints I ship myself. All my zines I ship myself. And canvas patches I ship myself. I was going to show you a canvas patch. So let me just pull one of those up. So this is the Hexa Bunny canvas patch.
Yeah.
And so these are just, I cut them out. They're printed on canvas. They're sturdy as heck. They're waterproof. And yeah, so they're not drop shipped because I order the fabric to me and then I cut it up and then I ship it.
So, and that fabric you get from Art for Wear?
Art of Wear. So why don't I give you a tour of that next?
Yeah.
How are we doing? All right, like I know we're going a little long. Is that okay?
That's fine by me. I probably should leave in like 40 minutes or so. So I think if we have at least that much time.
Okay, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right, so this is Art of Wear. You can see it's WHERE. Like I said, they're Canadian. It's nice for me as a Canadian that they're in Canadian dollars, but you can take a look at the thing yourself, but they have integrations for a variety of different kinds of stores, which means that it's an app that plugs directly into your store. If your storefront, if you've already got a storefront and it doesn't have an integration, you can still use these to drop ship. You just have to go and enter the product information yourself and the shipping information yourself.
Right.
But it will still, they'll still fulfill it. They'll still use your branding. You can still sell dropship products in your store, even if it's not one of these 4 storefronts. So just to reassure people, you don't need to have one of these to use it. So again, they do have dropship. They do have wholesale. Art of Wear also has a Society 6-like store that you can run on Art of Wear. Have not really found a great use for it myself. I think I'm just a little bit too niche in terms of my subject matter.
Right.
If you are getting into more of the fashion design end of things, maybe that's something to throw up, because honestly, it's free and you get that 25% commission, but they do set the prices themselves for the stores.
Yeah.
So
you could end up competing with yourself in that way. So
yeah. Thing to think about. Yeah. So I'm going to just show you. Go under Create. This is the list of things I'll make for you.
Nice.
It's huge. So I haven't really explored too many of the clothing or pillowcases. I've tried some of their leggings. I'm a plus-sized woman. I am at the very top end of their size options. They go up to about a 16. I don't feel comfortable selling clothes that someone just a tiny bit bigger than me can't wear.
Right.
Maybe someday the money will convince me otherwise, but I feel pretty weird about it. So I haven't really explored much of the clothing beyond like just being like, I'd like leggings with crystals on them to go work out in. And they're great leggings. Like they make great clothes. I just get so frustrated about body shaming. So, but their pillowcases are lovely. Their scarves are absolutely gorgeous. And then I have been making their pencil cases quite a bit. And I've just sort of started ordering prototypes of the makeup bag and the zipper carry-alls, and they're really nice. I have not, made any of their phone cases yet because it's not really my jam, but I hear good things. And then I've tried both their books, and I highly recommend the notebooks. They're incredibly lovely. I don't know if the spiral notebooks are priced quite right. I think they're a little expensive for the quality. The cards are nice. The tote bags are lovely.
Yeah,
so they have 3 different kinds of tote bags, which is a really neat thing. And then they have 5 different kinds of wall art. So, and then within them, there's options. So you can get a poster, which would be like, like a band poster or a movie poster. So great, I think, as like if you wanted to like have something where you're like, hey, buy my book and get a poster.
Right.
Like that, they're really, really awesome that way. If you want something that's a higher quality print, they have 2 tiers of art prints. They have a digital art print and they have a giclée art print.
What's that?
So digital is something that you might get like a nice digital print at Staples if you're going to get some photos printed or that sort of thing. So their digital prints are lovely. And then the giclée is an inkjet. Archival quality, incredible color depth on very expensive paper. So that's the sort of thing where if you're like, I'm going to get prints of my photos to hang in a gallery, you would want giclée. So giclée is an option. I'm currently offering giclée by Crom prints because they're just so nice. But the digital prints I found are really gorgeous. I was really impressed with them, and I work in print. Like I know this stuff. They do a really good job. And I think they're a little bit more price flexible, which makes them more available to more people. And that's a thing that I do. I now do mostly digital prints. They will print on canvas and mount it on canvas frames for you if you want to have that sort of fancy thing. They do gorgeous prints on wood, and they just listed these acrylic prints. And then the other thing that I told you about is I do fabric. I print fabric with them. So just to give you some examples, the pencil cases that I print with them, the way that you do it. So go into what's called the design lab. And so again, you can browse all of the different things that they make here. Tons of things. If we take a look at the bags, you can see your really fancy origami tote. You can get this really lovely day tote with a leather thing, or you can get these 2 different kinds of tote bags. Because I don't want to upload an image that's too big, let's make a pencil case.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just grab, pop into, let's go into my patch designs and I'll just pull up this month's Patreon patch.
Yay.
So yeah, that's going to creep along because we're streaming. So you're going to upload.
Is this the sorcerer with the crystals in the skull? Yeah.
This is our crystal skull sorcerer. So I'll just show you what you can do in here, and then you can understand that most other things work like this, which is not that different from how Society 6 works.
Right.
All right, he's almost done. And I feel like the pencil case is nice because it gives you the front and back. There we go. So it's going to throw it in there for you. You can zoom in and zoom out, which is very helpful when images show up really big. And you can move the image around. And you can see on the right there, there's a live sort of mock-up that they do for you, which I find very helpful. You can rotate. You can also just rotate a little bit if you so want.
This is peeking at us.
Yeah. So we can sort of like decide what we want. They also, you're going to design the front and the back. So whatever you've uploaded will stay in here. I could upload like 10 images and just do a full design session. So I can rotate this over this way. And then over here, this is actually a 3D model.
Ooh.
So you can rotate it around.
Well, that's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. And sort of see, and you can check things like the seams. It's not going to be completely precise.
Right.
Because these are hand sewn. So there's going to be a little variation in them, but gives you that. The other thing they offer you is you can mirror the front. So when I hit mirror the front, you'll see that it's now just mirrored on the back. Or I can clone the front. So now it's just going to be cloned. It's not the same as mirroring, but it gets you that thing. So you only have to design one side. And it's got, they're obviously helping you see with this red thing where, you know, things might get sucked into the seams. So.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's very straightforward. And if for any reason you're like, I don't want to do a pencil case anymore, you can click back in here, click through the different products. You know, if you want to make a wood print, go in and create new. And you can see sort of a preview of it printed on the wood. So that's how you design stuff for Art of Wear. When you're done, you would hit save. It's going to tell you that your resolution is very low because you've stretched a patch-sized image onto a large print. But they sell 8x8, which apparently we're still good for. So you can say like, that's fine. They'll generate your design. And what you're going to do is give it a title, and it will get saved into your account as a designed object, an object that's ready to print. So if we call this demo design, I'll save that and I'll just show you the account itself. So we'll just exit the design lab. Yep.
My brain is exploding with ideas now.
I'm
super excited.
It's so good. So if we go over to my account, you can see all of the products I've designed. So heckin' many of them.
Yeah.
So these are all products that my big cartel store can send an order for. So like you may have seen this notebook in my big cartel store. When it sends it, an order for the notebook, this is the product it summons. So there's a place where we're going to set that up. But in here, you can also order stuff yourself, especially if you want to order samples or if you want to order like stock for shows or what have you. So you can go in and tell it what kind of order. I'm not going to go any farther because my address is there, but these are the sorts of things you can do. And again, regular would be like, oh, I'm buying this at retail price. Drop ship is slightly lower, 25 to 30% lower than retail price. And that's if you're shipping it to a customer of yours. I often buy my samples at the drop ship rate because I can. It's not they're like, yeah, if you're just getting a sample for drop shipping, like just pay drop shipping prices. Wholesale is if you're buying 6 or more, and that's generally 50% off, but there's a few products that are just too expensive for that to be doable in terms of the labor on producing them. So it's 50 to 60% of ticket price, I would say. So that's how you set those up.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And then they also have something called the Photo Lab. I find it kind of laughable, but it means well. And I'll do that with, do I have any clothing items? No. Let's do a Photo Lab with this.
So this is to give you an image for your store if you don't have
If you
one
don't
to
want to,
take a photo.
yeah. So you
Yeah.
can, they have some different sort of backgrounds, which I
Oh,
think
right.
are sort of hilarious. So I haven't really figured out how to make good use of this myself, and I find that the resolution of the image it generates is a little bit low
Okay.
for what I'm looking for. But you can upload your own images. Again, it's generating a 500 by 560 pixel image, which is small for my store. Maybe it'll work for yours.
What are you
And you
saying?
can add text. I don't know how image heavy everyone's different designs are. So they'll let you sort of like make your own text field,
Oh, right. Yeah.
or you skip it. And you can add your own logo. You can add other logos by just uploading PNGs. And then they'll generate a full image and you can download it. Again, I haven't really played around a lot with that. I like to buy samples and photograph them myself mostly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is really effective when you get something and take a picture of it. It just puts it in people's minds that it's a thing that does exist right now, and
Yeah,
they
it's
could have.
physically there. You can demonstrate how it could be used or where it's going to be
Yeah.
in somebody's house, and I really think that improves the store. But yeah, so that's, and then the way that it plugs into my Big Cartel is through the dashboard. So I have sort of my latest product sales. I have the list of products. Now, this is the list not of my products in my Art of Wear account, but my Big Cartel products. So you can see I've got these 2 zines.
Oh,
They're
okay.
not synced, right? They're not going to be synced because I'm not drop shipping. This,
Yeah.
however, is a drop shipped art print and it is synced. So if I go in, I can see that I've actually synced it to a digital print of this art I designed and saved to my account.
Right.
So that's how you're going to do that. And up here is my integration. And if I wanted to add another integration, I could go in and add another integration. I super don't. But you can add as many as you want if you keep a bunch of different stores.
Ugh.
And then let's see. It does give me a purchase report. It's okay. Let's go for 90 days. So yeah,
Nice.
it's going to tell me how much sort of is going on here. There are settings that you can work with in terms of when you want to get things. If you want to automatically have your orders processed and paid for when they show up, I would prefer not to. And then you can go back into design wear stuff, or you can go to Art of Wear. So yeah, again, this is artofwear.com. I really like their stuff. I found it to be very high quality. The other place that I use, again, is Printful. And Printful is a little bit different on the back end, but you can see some of the products that they make. And like I said, the t-shirts, the direct-to-garment printing on the t-shirts and the sweatshirts is really lovely. I haven't tried their all-over print cut and sew stuff yet. I'm very excited. I love their coffee mugs. And like I said, I really, really like their hats. They
Oh, yeah.
also do tote bags. So it's definitely one of those things where you want to see if you want to play for the tote bag in American dollars or Canadian dollars. Haven't tried their socks yet. Look like they could be cute. And like I said, I don't really do fashion that because nobody provides the size range that I think is important to have.
Yeah. They have
But
beach towels though,
they
which
do
I
have beach towels.
think that would be kind of awesome going to the beach with a branded. Yeah.
I haven't tried their beach towels. Years ago when Society 6 started beach towels, I made myself a Crystal Island beach towel and it's great. 2 thumbs
Nice.
up. So presuming it's a very similar process here at a potentially higher quality, I would definitely say give it a shot. They do a better deal on samples. But yeah, so you can see all the different options. They have a lot of different hats. In terms of like how fancy stuff is, I would say the Art of Wear stuff's a little fancier, especially obviously their fashion line is a little bit higher end in terms of having things. So if that's something you want to get into, I would say take a look there. Printful
The
doesn't.
T-shirt that your Hexa Bunny T-shirt, that's Printful or is that Art of
That's
Wear?
Printful.
Okay.
So Art of Wear doesn't really do t-shirts.
Yeah,
They tend
that's
to do
beneath them.
exercise wear and fancy tank tops and um, skirts and dresses and leggings, and they do them very well, but they're not my jam.
Book
But they
bag.
might be yours, in which case try them. Um, but yeah, if we kick into the t-shirts, you can see all the different shirts that they provide and all the different colors those shirts are available in. So if you want to see, this is the shirt
Yeah.
that I used to print my 3/4 sleeve things on. It's really lovely, and there's a bunch of nice different color combos. But like, there's so many options, and you can sort them. If you're just getting started and you want to make sure that you're producing something that's like very affordable, right, you can just sort low to high. What's the cheapest shirt that they can make for me?
Right.
And the price that they're giving you is the price for the front print. To make, print, and produce it, and then you would add shipping to that. But this is your cost, not your customer's cost, your cost.
Right. So
So
you'd want to charge more than that.
more, yeah. So if you want to sell a t-shirt for $15, you probably want to go with this one,
Yeah.
right? And get your black or your navy blue.
Is there
It's
I don't know if you know the magical price that sells T-shirts at or anything like that. Like,
The reality is there is not a magical
yeah.
price. I grew up in Toronto during a time when a lot of local fashion designers were making clothing for ravers, and you could sell a $50 t-shirt, no problem.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and I'm sure Paul Frank still can. But like, for me, I feel like 25 is a nice price in Canadian.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So you can see that these can get expensive.
But you can tell how often I buy my own clothing.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't. I inherit my dad's clothing. That's what I do most of the time.
I don't know, but like, are you a t-shirt guy, right? Like, then you're not, if it's not something that you wear, then you've got to just do some research.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, be like, okay, where are people buying t-shirts? If I'm selling to pop culture nerds, then I probably want to check what Hot Topic is selling them.
Right.
Right. I want to check what they're getting at, like, Uniqlo has that branding with Disney deal. So if they're buying their Star Wars shirts at Uniqlo, how much are they paying for them? Right? How nice are those shirts?
Yeah.
So, if I'm getting my like who was selling? I feel it was like Blue Notes was selling like Metallica t-shirts. Like, what are they charging for them?
Yeah.
Right? Because that's sort of my market, is that kind of nerd. And I am one of those nerds, so it's been very easy for me to be like, well, I bought this band shirt for $45, so if I'm selling for under that, we're good. But there's lots and lots and lots of options. And then if you want to design something to then save as a product, you're going to go over to the mockup generator. So not everything on the site is up in here yet. You can still design for other things, but this is the way I've been doing it because it's nice and easy. Let's design a tote bag.
Yeah.
This is an all over print tote. It's got a base cost of $17. There's 3 different handle colors. And I'm going to upload. Let's just grab a cherubim.
And this is another site that has drop shipping, or
yes. So this is the other site I use for drop shipping. So right now you can see the safe area, this ... and we can again sort of adjust the size of things. And so we can see all the different options we're going to generate. So right now, if we go over to product, I've selected all 3 colors. I'm going to unselect. I'm just going to get them to generate one with a black handle. So it's going to be printed on both sides of the bag. If you want to customize them differently, then you have to go in and use their guidelines and create your own Photoshop files. But they'll walk you through that. They have lots of great guidelines. So you can even go and sort of center everything. So you can see that the safe print area is there, but what we want is something to fill the whole template view. If we go over to the mockup view, it's going to generate the file for us. It's not quite as slick as Art of Wear. It doesn't give us that 3D thing, but we can get a sense of what we're going to get. If you are happy with that,
I'd carry books in it.
Yeah, then what you do is you generate the files. So we're going to say I want the default mockup. It's going to be for the black handled 15 by 15 tote. It's going to have a 15 by 15 print file. I can change the file name if I want. And so it's going to give me the print file in the file type that Printful uses. And then I can choose to have my mockup as a JPEG, which will give me a white background, or as a PNG, which will give me a transparent background. And I could add my own background. So if we just keep it with PNG and we go in and we generate files, it's going to generate the files that Printful needs to print this and save it as an option for me to pull those files up and associate them with my store. So first it generates them, and then I get to decide if I want to save them to my library or download or just order a version of this right away. I'm going to show you how to save to library because you need to have a library of files to do drop shipping. So they've been saved to the library. I'm not going to bother downloading them because I'm not actually going to be selling this exact tote bag. So when I've done that, they've been added to my library. I can just go back to Printful, go back to edit, or actually all the way back in, and I'm going to go over to my dashboard, which is mercifully named the same thing. And so here you can see I've got orders. Let's take a look at my file library. So I've got my Oliver Cherubim file, and now it's been prepared. So I've got a mock-up that I can take a look at. That's nice. I can download that to use that in my store or advertise on Twitter. This is the file that they're going to use to print it. So if I'm going to go over to my store, this is the next important thing. Got my Big Cartel store plugged in. This Printful has a ton of integrations. So they super want to sell with you. They'll sell through Gumroad. They'll sell through Amazon. They are plugged in. They'll also connect to ShipStation, which is pretty great. And you can also do manual orders for drop shipping. So you can set that up. I've set it up with my Big Cartel store.
Nice.
So if we click in and we check out my products, so they're sorted into all of the products, the ones that are synced, the ones that have not been synced, and the ones that are ignored. And then obviously there's one that's out of stock. So we go and take a look at what I've synced. I've got a t-shirt that I've discontinued. I've got 2 other t-shirts I've discontinued, and I've got the Conan and my puppy mug that is live. So you can see this. This is it notifying me that when I designed this t-shirt, I used a brand of t-shirt that they aren't able to stock anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, so I might want to disable this product. It's already disabled, so I'm golden. I've got a big pile of things that it's ignored. And then I've got these things which I haven't updated in Printful, but because I'm not selling them through Printful, I'm going to click, here, I'll just save one of them. I'll click ignore on these. So that if I get an order for these products, Printful isn't going to be excited about trying to sell me a thing. It's only going to pay attention to orders from these products.
Nice.
And if you ever need, you just refresh. And it will refresh. So if I want to show you just quickly how I would sync one, I'd go over to this one and I'm going to fake sync it to that tote bag. So we go edit. And I'm going to choose the product. So it'll list all the variants. So if you have sizes of t-shirts, you just connect an exact t-shirt size to that variant.
Right.
It's very helpful. So that was tote bag. What's this one? It's black. That's the size. And now we're going to go in and make sure that we pull the right print file because this is what they're going to provide. So we've got print file front and print file back. And again, if you want to make this yourself and upload them, they have all the templates you need. So choose that. And that's good to go. When we go over, it'll also generate a mockup for us just to double check that we're getting exactly what we want. So now it's been synced. So you can see it's generated the mockup. And so when somebody buys this, it's going to send Printful an order for this tote printed with this image, which should look like this.
Nice.
And you can always change it. You can always unsync it. You can always say, just ignore this product. So I'm going to unsync, and then I'm going to go back in here and just ignore this whole product. You can ignore individual varieties of things. So if you're like, buy a t-shirt or a book, or a t-shirt and a book, you can set that up in here and it's great. So Printful also offers warehousing. I have not explored that at all. But
it looks like it's new.
Yeah. So I hope that that's a good overview of Artware and Printful.
Yeah, that is good. Very, very helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. The other sites that I've been looking at that I haven't really had a chance to do much with, I've been taking a look at Guten. They have an outrageous array of products, including beer mugs.
Oh, nice. Yes.
So that's gooten.com. I have tried their scarves, which weren't, I don't think, quite as nice as the Art of Wear scarves. But one of the things with Guten is that they're not the printers. This site aggregates drop shipping printers, print on demand folks from all over the place.
Oh, okay.
So I can't guarantee that one product being high quality means that any other product will or won't. So if you do choose to use them, just get a sample, check what you're getting.
I saw, as you're scrolling through, I saw an ottoman.
Yeah. So just like, whatever you think anyone could ever want.
Yeah. I mean, somebody's got to make a 6-sided die ottoman.
You know what, Eppy? Today is your day. But yeah, so they do a lot of stuff. Yoga mats. So the cost that you see starting at, that's your cost, not your clients' or customers' costs. So when it says starting at that cost, that's what you pay them.
A woven
so you gotta
blanket.
keep that in mind.
Wow.
Right? Well, right. What?
Okay. All right.
It's pretty amazing.
Man, I should not be let loose in this.
On some level, it's a little dangerous.
Yeah.
They produce a bunch of mugs. They have other kitchenware as well. They have a slight glitch in the site, which is exciting.
Oh, yeah.
That must be fun. I'm sorry for anybody that's not enjoying that. But, it parked itself. The glitch parked.
That's good.
But they make cute little hand towels and things.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the stuff that you can do on Society 6, you'll find here. So shower curtains, accessory pouches, bath towels, beach towels.
You can brand your entire apartment.
You can brand literally your entire life with your stuff, if that's your jam. They'll make Christmas ornaments. So that's the other one. And then the last one, what was that? Print Mint. Nope, can't find it. I'll find that one and drop it as a link. I haven't even tried it yet, though, so I'm definitely hesitant. That's the one where I have to look over the contracts because they want to know all about my business.
Right, and that's the one that you think has this one has the beer mug, but that has a lot of glassware, you were saying?
Yeah, it had a bunch of different kinds of glassware and clear glassware that it prints on. So that might be a good solution. If you hold on, I'll stop screen sharing and see if I can find it in my email. All right, back to my face.
Yay.
All right, what are you? Printed Mint. Let's see if I can pull that up. printedmint.com.
And then we should do our reminder that people should remind people.
Absolutely.
This has been very helpful, by the way. Thank you.
I'm really glad. I'm hopeful that it was. Let's go back in, screen share. This is Printed Mint's list of products, and that's again 174 products. So yeah, camp mug, travel tumbler, And just what's a Mickey blanket? I don't know.
And this one, unlike the other one, which was like an aggregate of a bunch of print on demand places, this one
I have not been able to figure out that it's an
oh,
aggregate
okay.
yet. It might yet be.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got your can coolers, you've got your beverage tumblers, you've got your beach towels. You've got just a full array of stuff. And they do some foil printing as well, which is kind of neat if you're looking to like have a snazzy particular thing. Pet bandana.
That's, you know what? I laugh, but there's just down the street, there's a grooming place that they just put a bandana on every pet that comes out of it, and everyone's like, yeah.
That's cute.
Mm-hmm.
We know now where you got your pet groom. So, yeah, sippy cup. Gold mug. So, yeah, in terms of like stuff, there's lots of options. Always, always, always when you're trying something completely new, like pay that 10, 15 bucks, get a sample, make sure that you're getting what you think you're getting, because this is definitely a place where people are going to try and find good ways to make money by selling to people who maybe aren't checking this stuff.
Yeah. The first run of the mugs that I did, they look fine when people see like me holding one on the low res video files or whatever, but up close they still look like they're in low res video files.
Oh. And then you've
now,
since fixed that,
they're
right?
Society 6 now, and they're fine. But
yeah, it's definitely like, making sure you've got a high res file, like check for what size image they want and don't take a small image and stretch it. Make sure you have a nice high res image. Like it's just going to work better. So yeah, so this one again, like I have a bunch of paperwork from them in my email I have yet to deal with, so I cannot give them 2 enormous thumbs up, but I can give Art of Wear 2 enormous thumbs up, and I can give Printful 2 enormous thumbs up. I'm very impressed with their stuff. I'm very, very happy with their stuff. I'm very excited about the possibilities and really encourage folks to take a look into them. Let's stop sharing and yeah. So everybody, tell people about your store. No one's gonna know that you're selling shit if you don't talk about it literally constantly.
That's the thing that my theme for this past month that I've been on Twitter is just telling people, because I remember being like thinking that modesty was an important quality, and I mean, sure it is, but like if you're trying to get a message out to people, you can't do that by waiting for them to come to you, because nobody will. And I think that like finding excuses to talk about you, like anytime you think of anything where you're like, oh, that reminds me of my thing, fucking tweet about that. Like don't let any opportunity go by without you. I know you think you're annoying, but you're not. Like
it takes so much to be annoying on the internet, right? Like the bar is so low that you would have to be like just dragging yourself along the ground on your stomach to be that awful person on Twitter. Right? So the other thing is, I mean, I have 2,000 Twitter followers, I think, or something like that. They're not all seeing every tweet.
No.
I mean, many of them are following 1,000 or more people. And so most of my tweets are just lost in the ether. And so you have to be constantly, making noise and finding reasons to talk about things and making threads that people are getting involved in to get eyes on what you're doing online.
And like another thing that I found has been helpful for me is to also do this. Like I'll do threads on Twitter, and I'm like, oh, here's another thing I want to say. I'm going to wait 2 hours to say it, because 2 hours from now, there's going to be people who haven't seen this thread yet. And if I do that, that'll pop it back up. And
exactly.
Just, anything you could do to say it a lot and spread it out over, because there are people who are awake while you're asleep who might buy your stuff. So
yep. I found when I was the last big marketing push I did was for the corruption of Polursk, my little dungeon with the fabric map and stuff. And I started talking about that more than a month before I was actually going to be able to sell it, even as a pre-order. I started telling people that I was working on it. I started talking about my influences. I started talking about what I was developing with the fabric map. And then once I knew that I was going to have a concrete date, I sort of started a thread where it's like, you're going to be really pumped about this. And then here's an influence, here's a description, here's a teaser, here's a little image, right? And just kept adding to that thread as part of my marketing thing so that if anybody wanted literally any information about this thing, it was all in one long Twitter thread that I kept adding a tweet to that sort of brought it back up into the timeline.
Yes. The collective consciousness.
Yes.
Also, I was sorry that we're, but this makes me think that also if people ask you questions, even if you've answered them somewhere else, answer them again and do it like politely and with enthusiasm, because they may not be the only audience to what you're responding to, and somebody else might be like, wait, what's going on here? I want to know more.
I've been trying to, when somebody asks me a question, especially on Twitter, that it seems like something that if they're having this problem or this confusion, then probably 10 or more people are having it, then I try and just quote tweet them with an answer so that it's very publicly visible. Do not do this in an effort to sick mobs on people. That's bad.
No.
Do it in an effort to spread helpful information.
Yeah.
And check yourself if you feel like there's a confusion between the two.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you have to just be so noisy about stuff and so relentless. Like I have been sort of turning over stock in my store because I'm going to be generating a lot of new stock towards the end of the summer. I'm rebranding my whole store. And that means that like some of them, like the Hexa Bunny shirt and my Conan shirt, I was like, these are okay, but I think I could redo them in ways that are more interesting. And I'm going to take them down. And I was like, I could just take them out of the store and no one will know. Or I could say, these are going on Friday. You have a week. If you want one, buy one. And I can tell you which approach is going to make you more money and let people grab the thing that they like. Right?
And go on. You're saying.
The main thing that I think people don't understand is when you're buying the things, you want to know about them. You want to know how to get them. You're excited about owning them. It's not a burden to be aware of how to buy something, even if it's not something you can buy right away, right?
Yeah.
It's a burden if somebody's guilt tripping you. It's a burden if somebody's being aggressive or mean about it. But the information of like, I made a thing, maybe you'll like it, you can pick it up here, is not aggressive or mean or condescending or annoying, right?
Yeah.
Like it's when you try and manipulate people that you've started to cross the line, and you'll know when you're doing that, right? As a seller. Like if you're so nervous about talking about your stuff at all, then you're not in the manipulation risk like for a while. If you find yourself bitter about nobody buying your stuff, and if that bitterness is coming out, then you start to cross the line as well.
Yeah. Bitter doesn't sell.
No, bitter doesn't sell. Bitter's for hanging out with your friends in the backyard.
Yeah.
Get that bitter out. And then go back and make things. And it's natural to sort of make something and be like, why doesn't everybody want this? But you cannot use that attitude to sell it.
And like the thing is that it may also be the reason why nobody wants it is that they don't want it right now. Like a thing that I'm running into right now, just to get, I guess, a little personal into what's going on. Shel and I have been doing speed runs of Swords Without Master on Sunday mornings. They've been a lot of fun. And the whole reason why we're doing those speed runs is because for some reason, I don't know, I think has very little to do with me. In February, suddenly a lot of people were paying attention to Swords Without Master. And it had been a game that I had thought, not that I, was done with it, like it's in the past or whatever, but I thought I was at a point where I got to work on some new stuff. And it clearly told me, no, you need to pay attention to what's going on here and start, going back to this well. And so I started talking about it and started trying where I've set out to talk about it and try and generate interest in the past. And I'm not saying it didn't work. It may have worked. It may have generated interest in certain people who then took 6 or 7 months to come around to doing something with it or whatever. So just kind of watch, and when you see an opportunity, give it a nudge. Like, hey, people are talking about my stuff. Let me talk about my stuff.
This stuff right here.
Yes, this stuff right.
Lovely stuff that you could own.
You can go to www.worldswithoutmaster.com and pick up issue 3, which has Swords Without Master in it. It's that easy. That's all you have to do. Just work.
Do you want to buy my stuff? You just looked at all my stuff. It's at sorcererscatalog.shop.
See, exactly.
I got a cute domain, folks. Also, I got catalog with both spellings, so you can't spell it wrong. You'll find it.
That's great.
Because I'm in Canada, and we have terrible, terrible spelling purgatory here.
Yeah.
No one knows how anything is spelled. But no, you cannot go wrong talking about your stuff politely and with enthusiasm. Do not come in and be like, I don't know, I made this shitty zine and I don't know if anybody's going to want it, but like it's in my store. It's going to work on 8 people and that's it. And those 8 people probably would have bought it if you'd been enthusiastic about it too.
Yeah. You're not getting more customers. You're just setting the limit of the customers you're going to get.
You've put a cap on it by being down. And if it's hard for you to find a way to talk about your stuff, talk to your friends and fans and be like, what do you see in this? What did you like about this? Right? My friend Sam just tweeted, she's like, my friggin' partner just advertised my webcomic better than I ever could. And because he loves it and he thinks it's great. And he made a tweet where he summed it up in a tweet and he's like, go read this. Yeah. This is what I love about it. And sometimes as the creator, it can be hard to see that. So use that help, get feedback.
Well, you know what? And that's another point is that if you got other people working along, like in the same area that you're in, doing similar things that you appreciate, let the world know, because that's helpful too.
Oh yeah.
You make friends.
If you can be enthusiastic and supportive, so one of the things that I think people don't understand about selling stuff on the internet, like I made a comic about Conan giving me life advice. That comic is been like I'm pretty sure that's how we met. And you're on a list of probably 100 amazing people I met because they were like, I also love Conan. And I was like, I really fucking love Conan. Let's talk about Conan, right? So not only is talking about the things you love a great way to meet people, not only is making things you love a great way to make money, but those things overlap, right? Like you've made this sword and sorcery game. Eppy, do you like sword and sorcery?
I do. I enjoy it just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just that much.
Just just a smidgen. And you want sword and sorcery to become awesome, and you want to connect with other people that like sword and sorcery. So going out there and being like, I made a sword and sorcery game is a great way for other people to be like, oh, that sounds really cool. I also love sword and sorcery. I also made a sword and sorcery thing. Right?
Yeah. No, it's great. And yeah, that's how you build community. That's just how it works.
Yeah. And I think I made this joke in the stream yesterday in the actual play, but when you have like a shirt or a hat or a pin or a button or a patch that has something you love on it, it's a flag to other people who are going to love that thing. Yeah. So you can approach them and be like, I also love Swords Without Master. I also love Conan. I also love By Crom specifically. Right. And I say this as someone who wears a lot of metal shirts and has made a lot of friends, all the way back to undergrad, being like, that dude's in an Opeth shirt. I like Opeth. We're going to be friends. Right.
We didn't have time in the streams, but there are 2 instances in my life where wearing a metal shirt may have saved my life.
Jesus.
I mean, it was when I was younger, but on the mean streets of Madison, Wisconsin, I often tell this story because this is before this is gonna date me here. This is before I think 92, when Danzig's Mother video came out, and before that video came out, if you wore a Danzig t-shirt and there was another person who knew what Danzig was, you were fast friends. And then after that video came out, they were like, poser. But that's a whole nother problem. Yeah. And before that video came out, I had that, and I was in the middle of an altercation, a drunken altercation, and somebody I didn't know just stepped up and got me out of there because I had
Damn.
a comic book shirt on. So,
I often wear t-shirts for the band Ghost to shows because they're colorful and sarcastic and really, really well designed. And I like the band Ghost a whole bunch. And at two separate comic shows last year, it was 2016, the end of 2016, and then a show at the beginning of 2017, I would meet someone who'd be like, holy fuck, I thought I was the only Ghost fan in the entire world. I've never met another Ghost fan. And they were like, we are friends. What do you need? Like,
yeah.
can I buy you a drink? Can we take a photo together? Can I get you anything at your booth? Like, what are you selling here? Right? Like, broadcasting the stuff you love is always going to give you opportunities that weren't there otherwise.
Yeah.
And offering our fans a chance to do that is a way, like you said, to build community and to help people feel like they're part of a bigger thing than just, liking something. They get to like it with other people.
Yeah.
And they get to have reminders of what they like about it around their house. So,
well, I mean, that's another thing too. Like, if you're often you'll post about something that I have a copy of at my home because you've made it and I wanted it, and then I enjoy retweeting it, both to support you, but also to say, like, look, folks, I've got this, or just to be like, just I'm proud I own this,
which is really cool.
Yeah.
And like that's like a feeling that like I want to share. And like I think RPGs are still such a niche hobby that there's a lot of strong feelings about community membership and community performance, how to perform being part of the community. And that works for good or ill, but we can provide people with fun things that help them reiterate how they feel part of this community.
Yeah.
And that's well worth doing, I think. Right? I don't think that you're hurting anybody by offering stuff. So talk about your store.
Excellent. I think that's a good place to end this. How about you?
Yep. I think we covered a lot.
One last time we should talk about where people can find our stuff, and then we'll say our goodbyes. Would you like to go first?
Sure. So I'm Shel Khan. You can find me as Portable City on Twitter, on Instagram. I'm on Google Plus as Shel Khan. I make art for games. I make small D&D modules with fabric maps, and I made a comic where Conan gives me life advice. And you can find all of that stuff at portablecity.net. And if you want to buy it, you can buy all of that stuff at the sorcererscatalog.shop.
Nice. I'm Epidiah Ravishall. I've designed a few role-playing games, and I publish a sword and sorcery magazine called Worlds Without Master, which is at www.worldswithoutmaster.com, where you can buy it. Issue 3 happens to have the game Swords Without Master, which we mentioned earlier in this broadcast. You should buy it. You should read it. You should play it with your friends. You can find me on Twitter at Epidiah, Epidiah, or you could go to my website, which is even harder to explain, dig1000holes.com. Don't put a number in your website is the first thing I would tell you, unless you want to buy up all the different spellings of it. But this is dig and then the number 1000 and then holes.com. And that's where I talk about all my other projects and perhaps future merch that I will do.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. Yeah.
My pleasure. 2 thumbs up.
A lot of fun. All right, folks. We'll see you, and I'm going to press the stop broadcast button.
Bye.